for ourselves, for others, and for the benefit the environment we're in. And in doing that, it causes us to emanate a radiance, a beneficial radiance. And it draws people close to you. They want to come close to you. They'll even touch you. Even if they don't know you, they'll touch you because they feel it. Why? Because they're drawing this vitality from you. They're drawing healing energy from you. You know, we know the story of the case of Christ, where he's in this big crowd of people with his disciples, and he says, "Who touched me? I feel vitality leaving me." And the disciples were looking at it. "Well, you're in the middle of a crowd. What are you talking about?" But there was a sick woman who believed that if she touched the hem of Christ's garment, she had been bleeding for years, couldn't stop bleeding. And when she touched his garment, just believing that she would be healed, she was healed. Mm-hmm. So if we don't waste this vital energy creating useless elementals, we can use it to overfill ourselves with vitality. Whether we create useless or useful elementals, we're creating two different things when we create an elemental. One is the form of the elemental, which has a color, which represents the nature of the elemental and the shape and quality of it. And we're giving that elemental a radiance, an energy radiance, which comes from us. And it continues to come from us, as long as that elemental continues to exist. And this is what is keeping the creator of any elemental responsible. Until it dissolves, like I said. And how long does it take for an elemental to dissolve? Seconds, minutes, days, weeks, centuries. It depends. I've encountered some that were thousands of years old, and they're just as active and effective as they were then. And again, the radiance has the nature of the elemental in it. So for example, say you want to help somebody, and let's say, okay, I want to pray to Mother Mary to send a blessing to someone. What happens? That prayer creates an elemental of Mother Mary, as you understand her, as a bright light having the meaning of Mother Mary. And it automatically goes to the person you're praying for, radiating the tone of Mother Mary, sending the blessings to them. And that tends to incline them to pray. And it also inclines you to pray more. But what happens if you're praying for a Muslim? It still imparts the blessing, but the inclination to pray now for the Muslim will be to pray to Allah, not to Mother Mary, or whoever that person believes in. The form that we're sending is not important. What is important is the nature of the radiance we impart into the form of the elemental. Now, there are two general egoistic conditions in our subconsciousness. One is a group associated with our interests in life. These kind build up the personality self, and they're not hard to discover. They're very easy to discover. And we should know our own desires and aims in life. That's what we're talking about here. But the other group is way more hazardous and way more alarming and way more hidden in us. And it takes certain conditions for it to show itself. It often expresses itself as a blind force, dangerous blind force, like anger, jealousy, revenge. And the elementals forming this second group are terrifying in their form. And it's God's mercy we don't see those forms. It's bad enough just to feel the vibration. We've all felt the vibration of negative elementals. And they can, if you could see the forms, they would frighten even the most serious researcher of truth. So no matter how good people might consider themselves to be, we have to discover and know what we are creating to help us know where we stand right now and where we're going. Especially since we're told we must crush these harmful ones. Because many still think of their egoism as themselves, but their egoism is not their real self. It's a shadow cast by the real self. Egoism is not serving the real self. Egoism is serving itself. Dascalos once said, he said, you can pick the worst of your elementals, the very worst of your elementals. It will seem like a toy compared to the group elemental of your egoism. So we got to replace these negative ones with the positive ones, of course. We replace the prideful egoism of the personality with real dignity of the inner self. It's not so easy to find inner self, but there's no other way because it's hidden under the garbage of personal egoism. And that garbage must be burned to be free of it. Now in Sedona, we gave an exercise about burning this kind of garbage, seeing yourself inside a flame. We should give that again because that's a very helpful one.
It's
to
very
everybody.
strong, powerful.
It burns karma as well as just garbage. Studying these elementals, we can see that certain elementals affect other elementals. For example, if you let yourself feel offended by people, immediately other elementals similar are awakened. The feeling of annoyance, resentment, are all triggered by this one elemental. Or maybe you awaken the lion of anger in you, the feeling of spite or desire for revenge. So one elemental triggers another elemental in a chain reaction. But this is where we begin our work. Watching our reactions takes place, because the reactions are coming from these elementals from our subconsciousness, especially the knee-jerk ones where you just immediately vomit out something. So it takes a lot of introspection to catch those. So you ready, Aki?
Okay.
Do we have questions? Any questions? Sorry. Yeah.